All right, shalom, y'all. It's Michael Israel. You're watching Spiritual Combat, and what we're talking about today is self-deception, deceiving yourself. The way the Bible verse goes is James chapter 1, verse 22, and it says, "But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves." And you know the ah I'm trying to think of the best word to use. The best one I could come up with right now is the mechanism of self-deception is almost like it's intelligent. You know what I'm saying? It can be very intricate and elaborate and complicated. The levels of self-deception we can be deceived in operating under. Um, and you know this video here is right in line with the rest of the videos I've been doing about getting to know yourself. um, you know we have to look within, but there's a lot of obstacles to looking within. Okay, there it's uh me and a brother were talking. We were talking earlier, and I said this to him. I said a lot of brothers and sisters are hurting because they don't want to take the deep, dark, scary, unknown plunge into themselves. And this is particularly true with people who've been through trauma. And a lot of us don't realize we've been through trauma, or we've been through let's say it another way where people could understand it. We've been through an upbringing that wasn't righteous, that where what we didn't get properly fulfilled. I did a lesson on rejection, okay, on the spirit of rejection, and how when you don't receive the love you were designed to receive, you were designed to receive love from a mother, and you were designed to receive love from a father growing up as a child. And to the degree where you don't receive that, that's the degree where that spirit of rejection can be on you and can be operating in you. But you will be completely oblivious to these types of things operating in you and through you if you lack self awareness, if you lack the ability to observe what's operating inside of you. And you'll just go through life deceiving yourself, telling yourself it's something else than what it really is in whatever area that darkness is operating in, that those spirits are operating inside you, that stronghold is standing strong in you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this is where, once again, getting to know yourself, and these videos I've been doing, the whole purpose of them is to drill into this and show you the importance of getting to know yourself. Okay. Um, let's see what else I wrote here. We're going to creating creative avoidance mechanisms to deceive yourself into thinking you are something you are not. So this is that self-deception system. You have this concept of who you are. Um, Sometimes you hear it said people have a high, lofty opinion of themselves. That is a type of self-deception where you you think you're one way and you're really another, and you don't. There's a fear. There's a there's like a heavy fear. It's almost like this force that it could be pride, it could be fear, it could be pride and fear, it could be whatever, but it's like a force that stops you from wanting to realize that you're not what you thought you were, that you've been deceived. You know what I'm saying? And this is part of that mechanism that blocks us from taking that deep, dark dive into ourselves and seeing who we really are, really going in, getting to know ourselves. And because, like I said in my other video, we 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 know the Bible, we know the Word, we got that down, but we don't know ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And this, um, these talks, this foundational. And I said it's not even foundational. It's grading. We're grading the surface. This it hits everybody. It's like a blanket thing. Everybody can benefit from beginning to humble down and look within and compare what they're seeing and what they're finding on that exploration journey. Compare what they're seeing, what they're finding, to what the Word says. You see, and working their salvation out with fear and trembling. Make sure they're in alignment with that Word. And like I said, um, this is why we have. This is why we can live up to 80 years, because it's plenty to do, plenty, so much to do that you're not gonna have time to be worried about what other people are doing. Real talk. Once you really come to that realization. So what I have here, people fall into self-deception for a surprising number of reasons, often unconsciously. And here are some of the ways that people trick themselves into being or get deceived, self-deception, deceive themselves into thinking there's something they're not. One of the things I say is mental ascension. People will ascend into thinking there's something or someone, whatever, in their mind, but in reality, it's something else. So the first way people will deceive themselves is denial. This is the classic defense mechanism where we simply refuse to acknowledge an inconvenient truth. It's almost like a, a reflex. You know what I'm saying? Response. It's almost like automatic where, oh, no, that's not me. It's not me. Nope. That's some. And some people, you could see it. They'll do it outright. Some people, you just see it through their actions that, hey, they're not going to receive that. So that's one way, denial. Another one is rationalization. Okay. This is where you try to people try to justify their actions, beliefs, even logic. Okay. They'll try to make it logic. That that people try to spin stories and just kind of rationalize it away. Oh yeah, it's no big deal. Yeah, sometimes stuff happens. Meanwhile, this is a pattern. You know what I'm saying? Something that happens all the time. And like I said, this stuff I know this stuff because I did it myself for years in a lot of different areas. One of the ways I rationalized all the way up to the age of 26, I didn't really have a lot of success with women. So I just rationalized, yeah, it's them. Once I meet the right one, blah, blah, blah. And come to find out, I began to realize, I began to realize it was me. and there was some stuff I had to change in myself. And like upon coming to that realization that I was rationalizing, it was painful. It's like I get it. Like it, you almost can't articulate how painful it is to come to the realization that you're the problem. But I mean, it's staring you right in the face because the common denominator in every problem you got is you. But it's just such a painful thing to come to realize. It's humiliating, and what we do, we come up with these mechanisms just to, it's almost like a self-preservation survival thing where we don't want to face it. So what you have to do is ease in to looking into yourself, easy, and real gently, and begin to ask questions of, hey, was I the problem? Is it this? Is it that? Whatever it might be. Okay. Okay, here's another mechanism that people use to deceive themselves. Minimization. Minimizing stuff. Oh yeah, it's no big deal. It's almost like rationalizing. Minimizing, like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. I got it, but it's nothing big when it's really a huge deal. You downplay the seriousness of a situation or our own shortcomings. That mistake wasn't that big of a deal, or I'm not that bad at public speaking, or whatever it might be. Okay, that was one of the ones I used back when like I said, coming up on that age of 26. Prior to that, oh yeah, it's no big deal. Yeah, it's her. She got a problem. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Okay, and not facing reality, not being truthful. Not implementing James chapter 1 verse 22. Being a doer of the word and not just a hearer and deceiving myself. And what does that look like? People who are doers of the word, or people who are hearers of the word, but they're not doing it and they're deceiving themselves. They could talk a good game, they could quote stuff and everything like that, but when it comes down to putting in that work, and like the analogy I give is, this is what I talk about all the time. Everybody is very religious. Everybody's doing the word and religious on Shabbat, when everybody's sitting there praising, worshiping, and in front of all the saints and everything like that. Everybody's righteous and holy and everything. But are you doing the word when it's you, the word, and Satan? So it's you, whatever that temptation is, and the word that that you got memorized. Who are you then? What do you do? What's happening? Some people, literally, because they're so deceived and they're so unaware of how they're operating, their dark side, them spirits in them or whatever, will react. And after they're done reacting in a sinful way, in whatever way, shape, or form it might be, then they go to rationalization, or they go to denial, or they go to minimization, or they go to, let's go to another way people deceive themselves, selective attention. We focus on information that confirms our existing beliefs and ignore anything that contradicts them. This is why people can get stuck in echo chambers online. So people go online. You see this in political stuff. People will go to, a news channel, a news website that confirms what they, or people will go to other people who will echo what they want to hear instead of going and dealing, with the situation the way the word says to do it. Echo chambers. You see what I'm saying? And again, like these mechanisms, a lot of these behaviors that people operate, when people are operating in self-deception, you you'll be operating in that for so long. It's so automatic, you're not even consciously aware of it. But people around you, is blatantly obvious. It's like whoa, you see it. But when it's brought, a lot of times when it's brought to your attention, brought to someone's attention, that one of these mechanisms will kick in: denial, rationalization, minimization, selective attention. Um, you know, some and it could come in. Oh no, it wasn't me. It's them. Blah blah blah. It was something outwardly. It wasn't inward. You know, and we've been doing this for years, and it goes back to that to James chapter 1 verse 22. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving yourself. And it's like they had that. I saw this thing online, this short video, and the guy's like, he's saying, he's like, I asked God for patience. He gave me problems to develop that patience. He was like, I asked him for, and he just goes through all this stuff. I asked him to not be angry, and he sent me difficult situations. I asked for courage, and he sent fear to me, fearful situations to me. So it's literally like, it's telling you, like, a lot of the things that people see as problems in their life is the Most High trying to send them situations so that they can grow and develop. But they fight it. Y'all, I'm just, look, I hate to be the one to tell you that, but hey, no pain, no gain. And people are so fearful and scared of pain and difficulty that I can't tell you the number of times I done sat and talked to saints and be like, you've been praying, show them that what they've been praying for, the Most High is put right there trying to answer their prayer, and they just pushing away their blessings. They're pushing away Yah's answer to their prayer because they don't want to go through the obstacle. And like I keep saying, over and over in different ways, roundabout ways, the obstacle is the way. That is the way, is the obstacle. You have to go through it. And look, and these obstacles are in you. They're not something outwardly that you're trying to project. They require you to introspect. Okay? All right. Here's another way people try deceive themselves, is positive illusions. Sometimes we inflate our abilities and accomplishments. This can be a temporary confidence booster, but it can also lead to unrealistic expectations and disappointment. That was what I had said earlier. We have a high, lofty opinion of ourselves, and it's not the reality. And you watch people who function in this capacity, they're constantly like saying, hey, yeah, I'll do that, and they always fail. They never come through. You can't count on them. And because they got a spiritual blockage in this area, it's like it's alien to them. And then they jump into these other things, minimalization, some of these other mechanisms to explain away why they just keep failing, even though they said they were going to come through with something. They gave their word. So listen to what I'm saying, because this ties right into another thing. the Most High tells you to love your brother as you love yourself. But if you don't love yourself, if you don't know yourself, you can't love yourself. You got to get to know yourself to love yourself. So how are you gonna love a brother? How are you gonna love a sister? It's impossible. But it's basic. It's basic like that. So so like I said, self illusion. Um, Self deception can be motivated by a desire to avoid pain, protect our self esteem. A lot of people, they got low self esteem and they want to deceive themselves into thinking, yeah, man, I'm good to go. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And they got to tell themselves that just to feel something good about themselves. Okay? So self-esteem or maintain a positive self-image. That's what I just said. To maintain a good self-image for themselves, they just gotta deceive themselves instead of. And I'm telling you this because I did this for years in a major way, and I've been on a journey coming out of that for years. But I'm telling you, man, all the way up to the age of 26, I was miserably in that. And I didn't want to face the fact that there was something off. I didn't want to. But it began to get so painful. I was like, I got to figure out what the hell's going on. And I embarked on the journey inwards and began looking. And here I am today, still on that journey. and it's been a fruitful, productive journey, but I'm still on it. Okay? It says it's important to note that self-deception isn't always negative. For instance, someone with a terminal illness might convince themselves they'll get better to cope. And that's not self-deception. That's just having faith. You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, it's an article I'm reading from. The problem arises when self-deception prevents us from facing reality and making positive changes in our lives. And again, what is facing reality? You have to face the check engine lights in your life. What are the check engine lights? The problem areas in your life. Well, what are the problem areas in your life? The areas in your life that cause you pain and grief. Like you'll know what they are. They'll get your attention emotionally somehow. Sometimes people have deceived themselves for so long that they've pushed even the pain down and pushed it out of their awareness, and they don't know why they're feeling the way they're feeling. Like, why am I feeling? Like, it's just everything is out of awareness. And these people, it's difficult to even be around some of these types of people because their level of awareness is literally like a child in a lot of areas of their life. It says, if you think you might be deceiving yourself about something, it gives some tips here. Consider, and you know, we don't need to give tips. The tips are biblical. If you think you're deceiving yourself about something, that's why I tell people you need to study the book of Proverbs. You need to study the book of Sirach, or otherwise known as Ecclesiasticus. Not Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach. It's in the Apocrypha. You need to study books like that. Those are introspective books. You are not going to get far in that book before you begin feeling it. And then you need to begin to observe your feelings and your thoughts. And y'all know I did a show talking about the difference between feelings and thoughts and behaviors. You know, breaking all that down. And I mean, you gotta look within though. In times of crisis, this is the best time to do self-examination because The core quintessential you is on full display. You can see it all. But a lot of people don't, they, people put too much importance on their emotions and on their feelings. Like they put way too much importance on it. So they make it so important that they prioritize their emotions and feelings and they go with it instead of taking a step back and looking at them and analyzing them and determining where is that coming from? What's causing that? What type of mechanism is causing me to have this response? You see what I'm saying? They put way too much importance on it and way too little importance on the word that they claim to be following and studying. Okay? Let's see what else we got here. All right. So let's see. We got a little analogy here. People who are walking around in self-deception are like people who are walking around with a large wound on their arm. And everybody's telling them, hey, that thing could become infected. You need to get some medical treatment for that wound. Oh no, it's all right. It's good. It's good. And you walk around with this major wound on you. And the reason why you don't want to get medical attention for that wound that's on your arm is because you know it's going to hurt. Initially, it is going to hurt because they're going to have to scrape the stuff off or pour something on it. They're going to have to put some stitches in there. I remember, check this out. I remember I was this when I was a F-15 mechanic. I was an engine mechanic on the F-15. And I was working on the engine and I went to crawl out from under the plane and one of the panels was down and I didn't see it and koosh! I hit my head against it and I kept crawling out from under the plane. And by the time I got out from under the plane and stood up, my whole face was covered in blood. And I was like, dang. I had gashed my head open on that panel because those panels are like razor sharp. Somebody got me a paper towel, whatever, and I put it on my head. And I went to the doc in a box. And he was like, he was looking at it. He was like, I think it's going to need stitches. I was like, nah. I was like, I don't need no stitches, man. I was like, can I, what'll happen if I don't get stitches? He's like, you're going to have like a gash there on your head. And I was like, all right, yeah, I ain't worrying about it. He was like, what? He was like, I could glue it shut, but it's going to be a gash there. I was like, yeah, just glue it, man. And the dude was like, okay. And he was like, I'll glue it. and he went and he was good. He put something on there. He's like, just stand still. He put something on there, numbed it up and sewed it up, stitched it up. He's like, all right. He's like, you got 6 stitches. I was like, I thought you glued it. He's like, you stitch? I was like, I didn't even feel the needle going in. You know, he just told me that he was gonna glue it. And but yeah, and let me tell you, if I knew that dude was gonna stitch it, I wouldn't have went to the doctor because I don't like all that stuff, you know. So, but that's the way people are, man. They don't want to get medical treatment. They got these wounds, these spiritual wounds on them, and they don't want to do what the word tells them to do. You got to look within. You got to see what's going on. The sign that you got something going on is problems in your life. But we've been trained to project and think it's everything else but us. Like we've conditioned ourselves to that unrighteous response. But what does the word say? The meek shall inherit the earth. Like when you look, like what did Christ, he endured unjustly. He suffered unjustly. That was a major breakthrough for me when there's another area I grew in. I talk about all the time is how I wrestled with authority. A good part of my military career. Towards the end of my military career, I realized through reading the word that it tells you, servants, be obedient to your masters, even the froward, even the difficult, unrighteous ones, be obedient to them. And it went on because Christ did that. And it's thankworthy and all that. And man, that was a major breakthrough for me, recognizing that, you know. So, but anyway, y'all, I appreciate all y'all tuning in. This is Michael Israel. You watching Spiritual Combat. Check out the whole self-development playlist so y'all can get a full understanding of what I'm talking about here, what we're bringing out. And with that said, I'm Michael Israel. Shalom, shalom.